Here are today's top headlines. We are tracking the tropics and monitoring a disturbance that could bring heavy and possibly flooding rains to our area. Right now, it is still off the coast of Texas as we look at conditions now in both Galveston and Corpus Christi. That's on your screen, not far from where that storm is currently building. So for exactly what impacts we might be facing in the coming hours and days, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin. Chris, the rain has already started.
Yeah, we've already started to tap into that tropical moisture. More to come, and probably not until later tomorrow afternoon, evening, from potential tropical cyclone 1. It's a mouthful. What that means is that it is not yet a named storm. It is expected to become Tropical Storm Arthur tomorrow. And the reason for this naming by the Hurricane Center is that so warnings, watches can be issued, a track can be issued, and you can start making preparations. Now, the track is not nearly as important to us because even though the track is expected to keep the storm center well off to our west, we are expecting the heaviest rainfall right over southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. 2 to 3 inches of rainfall possible across the metro area, 3 to 5 to 7+ inches of rain, and wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to see even some localized amounts of 10+ inches of rainfall. Flash flooding, certainly a very big concern for this storm. The rainfall associated with the system right now is still just off the coast, Brownsville, Corpus Christi. So this doesn't get here until later on tomorrow. So as far as figuring out the time, we have some rainfall around us right now. We'll show you that in a moment. We get a break during the overnight and into early tomorrow morning. Then the rains associated with Arthur at that point doesn't start moving in until the later afternoon hours. And by the later afternoon and evening, that's when we start to get these rounds of heavy rainfall. Doesn't look like it's going to be a vast, large rain shield moving over the area, but within these pockets of heavy rain, we may see those kind of instantaneous 3 to 6 inches in a matter of less than an hour. That is what would lead to the flooding concern. By later Thursday morning and into the midday hours, maybe a little bit more of a focus on the North Shore, which if that is the case, we would see some of our heavier totals north of the lake. But as I mentioned, we do have some ongoing rainfall right now, and some big soaking showers across the North Shore did prompt some flash flooding, especially northern Tangi and Washington Parish. Get some pockets of heavy rainfall, Mandeville, Covington, coming out of Tangipahoa Parish, as well as some rounds of rainfall still moving across the metro area. Again, these should be winding down in the next several hours. We'll get a break early tomorrow before more rain associated with what will then be Tropical Storm Arthur. More on that coming up.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. And this storm has the attention of state and local leaders. Governor Jeff Landry and emergency management teams are on alert. And we're told there have already been some high-level meetings to discuss how they plan to respond. One way you can protect yourself is by staying home when the weather is bad. We know for some of you that might not be possible, but the fewer people driving in potential floodwaters, the better. Meanwhile, local utilities are preparing too. The Surge and Water Board of New Orleans says 3 pumps are out of service at the Carrollton Underpass. A temporary pump is there. Crews will be watching levels as well. They also cleaned almost 10 miles of drain lines and more than 2,000 catch basins across the city. And in Jefferson Parish, the Drainage Department says additional staffing is in place and crews are evaluating pumping conditions. Out of 196 pumps in the parish, just 2 are offline. That's the one in Harvey and one in Lafitte. They've also cleaned out 80,000 catch basins. This week's rain could not have come at a worse time for South Mississippi, though. Just a few weeks ago, a series of storms caused rivers to flood and several roads and neighborhoods to flood, too. Today, not looking much better in some spots. Rachel Hanley was there a couple of weeks ago and joins us live from Picayune again now. Rachel, familiar sight out there. What are you seeing?
Well, we are seeing some rain, thankfully not as heavy of rain as we thought might be happening this afternoon. It seems to have mostly spared this area, so that's good news. This neighborhood in particular got the worst of the storms that we saw this morning in this area, where off of MLK Boulevard, right next to Jackson Landing Road, you can see behind me, the streets are not looking too bad. They're getting more passable. Earlier, it did not look like that. This morning, we started off in Hancock County. We went to a sandbag filling station to talk to some people who lived in the area. They said that already from the storms that we saw this morning in this area, a lot of areas under houses and lawns and even smaller streets were flooded already, and so they were worried about this rain this afternoon causing more of it. And they told us that the further north we got, the worse the problem would get. And so we got on the road, we came up to Picayune, and that certainly ended up being the case. The further we got here, the more water we started seeing on the side of the road. We got a tip to check out this neighborhood, and we got here and saw lots of people dealing with water inside their homes, unfortunately. We saw people wading through knee-high water on the road with mops and other supplies. We saw cars flooded, and people told us that they were nervous looking at the forecast for this afternoon because they were already trying to dry out their floors, and now they saw more rain coming.
We went over to the other side of town. We've gotten sandbags to put around the house to try to stop it coming in. The city has been coming barricade the streets off to stop people from being able to come up and down the streets.
My house is already flooded. I'm gonna put sandbags, try to keep as much water out as I can, but other than that, I don't know what else to do. I guess all I can ask for is prayers.
Now, thankfully, again, the rain that we were expecting to see this afternoon did not end up being as bad as we thought it could be, so that's really good. But as you mentioned, Devin, a couple weeks ago, this same area, South Mississippi, we're talking Hancock County, Harrison County, Pearl River County, already had a lot of flooding from rivers and creeks that were overtopping because of a lot of rain up north and also rain here. So the ground here in South Mississippi from that and from this morning's flooding event is already very saturated. So Chris was mentioning that the kind of bullseye of that tropical system that we're seeing could hit South Mississippi. We are certainly hoping that's not the case because this area cannot handle any more water right now. Devin.
All right, Rachel, we're certainly thinking of them and all that rain up there. Thank you so much. And remember, you can always find the latest forecast, radar, and all of today's headlines on our website, social media, and free app for your phone or TV. Looking ahead now as we continue to watch the weather, multiple sandbag locations have opened. We're talking in multiple parishes here, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, St. John, and more. We have a list of each location and their hours on our website, WWLTV.com. Be aware, in many cases, you do need to bring a shovel and possibly your own bags. After months of construction, Decatur Street business owners and residents are set to meet with city leaders. For nearly a year now, parts of the street have been torn up, limiting access and foot traffic, and multiple businesses have closed. That meeting is set to begin in just 30 minutes. It's on the second floor of the French Market restaurant and bar.